So I have lived in this building complex for 13 years. And over the 13 years that I've lived here, it has gone down very significantly. It was actually a fairly normal, functional place to live when I moved in July of 2011. And everything was fine for the first couple of years until I'd say, July of 2013, when they started to rent to some pretty behaviorally disturbed and mentally challenged individuals, such as Jasmine Irizarry, a psychopath who they placed in the bathroom of 78, directly behind that wall, sometime in June or July of 2013. They also went from renting to a fairly normal guy who lived behind that wall right there to a psycho sex offender, M. Collins, who was just off the charts, perverted and psychotic and very behaviorally disturbed. And at the same time, they put some creep named Kenneth Johnson directly below me in 76. And Mr. Johnson had some significant behavioral problems, but claimed to be a DJ. So he would literally practice his DJing at like 1 a.m, which means he was constantly blasting really loud music. And that's when I knew that something had gone, into the gutter with respect to the Greenville group's business practices. And it really hasn't improved since then. I mean, they just rent to psycho creeps, violent thugs, drug users, sex offenders, psychopaths, such as the current psycho thug directly below in 76, somebody who goes by the name of Beat Cat on YouTube and won't stop commenting on every single video that I make because he's behaviorally disturbed and has obvious severe mental health issues. And Irizarry, who Greenville keeps moving out of Unit 78 and moving back in and moving out and moving back in, apparently. They also moved the psycho thug in 76, in and out of 76 a few times over the last 2 years. So they really just like to jam-pack the units surrounding mine with mentally disturbed pieces of low-life scum who have nothing else to do than perv and creep and harass people around them who are more functional and have stuff going on. I've always had to pay my rent entirely out of pocket. Not once have I ever gotten a housing subsidy. I applied for grants and loans to pay my rent during the pandemic and after the pandemic, but that's not a subsidy. That's not a government subsidy. That's a private grant that you personally have to apply for yourself. You actually have to be fairly functional to apply for these grants and loans. You can't be, mentally insolvent like the psycho thugs in 76 and 78 and 88. I mean, these people can barely put two sentences together on YouTube, even though they try to pretend like they're normal. But you can see by the way that they post and what they constantly talk about in their posts that they have some severe mental health issues, and they're too stupid to realize that they are doxing their own mental health issues. They're all in the charge of the DPH and DMH mental health system of Massachusetts. And apparently DPH and DMH like to dump all their psycho thugs into the Greenville group's residential buildings, which are actually commercial. I mean, I walked in off the street, walked into the office, was like, hey, do you have any units available? It's a commercial facility, right? It's not like a private mental hospital, although it should be at this point. So my point is, they should really make a commercial for the Greenville group and just rename it Creepville, and then claim to provide healthy assisted living facilities for psychopaths, sex offenders, career thugs, and mentally disturbed low-life trash. And you can make a commercial about that and be like, yes, we offer all of the above following activities for our sex offenders and our psychopaths. A, we place surveillance devices in other people's bathrooms so you can perv and creep at your leisure all over what your neighbors are doing in their bathrooms. B, we allow you to congregate in large numbers in the doorways and stairwells of the building complex so you can rub yourself up against female tenants. Any female tenant of your choice you can shove yourself at when she's trying to get into the building or out of the building using the doorways provided. C, we provide you with protection from law enforcement by telling law enforcement that the people who are actually accusing you are the ones who are crazy, even though, we know they're not crazy, but law enforcement really doesn't know the difference. So we'll protect you when your neighbors call the police on you and tell the police that the neighbor is actually the one who's crazy. Stuff like that, right? I mean, you can just make a commercial, like a Saturday Night Live style skit commercial about the Creepville group and how they rent to large numbers of psycho sex offenders who sit around all day beating their meat, basically, and perving and creeping all over what everybody does in the bathrooms and in the living spaces of other tenants. They tend to target people who are actually the ones who have to have jobs. They tend to target people who are not the low-life scum, sex offender, psychopath trash that they favor and, protect and sponsor, apparently. So you can make a whole commercial about that. Hey, is your neighbor normal? We'll make sure that you get to see everything they do in the privacy of their apartment so that they won't seem so normal to you at the end of the day. We'll hack into their phones and dox their personal conversations to everyone in the building so that you'll know exactly which family members they're having a problem with and which ones they're not, right? You know, that kind of commercial. Definitely, I should look into that. Then I should like sell it. But then, Greenville, Creepville, they don't have much standing in the community anyway. People have actually come up to me in housing court and in other places related to housing court saying that they are basically a criminal organization. The city has been trying to shut them down for years, that they are connected to the Russian mafia because obviously the owners are Russian and don't do things, the legal way. They're very crooked and underhanded. So nobody would go for a commercial about Creepville, but I just think it's funny because I have to deal with it every day.